Welcome to the Legendary Leadership Summit 2019 with Cody, Dakota, Wooten.
And we are here for the final session of the Legendary Leadership Summit. And we've got D.A. Collins with us. Now, she is the founder of Success Creation Academy, Inc., and she's the CEO of Collins Consulting, LLC. She's an internet entrepreneur, and she publishes content with purpose, not just for the fun of it, but with a purpose. She's published multiple books, and she's also helped other people become published authors as well. And her latest book, Muscle Memory Millionaire, is changing the business landscape of success for many aspiring entrepreneurs. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in business administration with a focus in online business strategies, and a master's in graphic information technology. Oh my gosh, you have so much schooling, and I feel like I haven't done enough with my life. Along with that, she's an entrepreneur, businesswoman with just an extraordinary heart for others. And she's the host of 3 major radio shows, And God Said, with co-host Brenda Arnold Scott on KWWI, and she is part of the Soul Food radio broadcast and the Power Source radio broadcast on KGM in Tucson, Arizona. D, welcome to the Legendary Leadership Summit.
Hey, Cody, what's going on? Thank you so much for having me. I do want to clarify the radio broadcast. I did host those in the past. I'm not currently hosting those because I am in a transition, moving on to some different things. I'm going to be doing some podcasts and hosting some new shows, but I wanted to mention those because they were actually just some great points in my life where we were able to broadcast to so many people and change lives. But thank you for having me.
Definitely. And thank you for clarifying that. I'm human. I make mistakes, and I'll be the first person to admit that to everybody.
You make mistakes too? I thought that was just me.
No. It's me too. And trust me, I probably make many more than you do.
You're too kind. I think I'm a habitual mistake maker, but I'm also legendary. Legendary at not just making mistakes, but just legendary. Legendary at leadership.
Exactly. And legendary at getting reproducible, monumental results. Now, Dee, what I would love is for you to tell us about yourself. Who is Dee Collins?
Okay. I'd be happy to tell you about myself. Actually, it's kind of a different question when somebody asks you, tell me about yourself. You don't always have an answer that's ready, but my answer is that I'm pretty much a regular everyday person, or I am a regular everyday person, but I live outside of the everyday norm. And I do that because I have made a life choice to be remarkable. I have made a conscious decision to be legendary, to set myself apart. So that's just who I am. I'm just kind of like that person that dances to her own tune. I don't do what everybody else does. I do what's right for me and what's right for those who I serve. Now, I love when people ask me this question, like, who are you? Because I actually do something or I am something that I think is pretty exciting.
Okay.
I'm a time traveler.
You're a time traveler. Hold on, wait a second. You've discovered the technology to go back in time? Like, can I get access to that so I can go back and tell my younger self like the winning lottery numbers and make a lot of awesome money? No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Say that, well, you're making awesome money anyway, and you're going to make much more than you ever could by chance, but definitely, like, one of my favorite movies of all time is like Back to the Future. And so, like, one day, I mean, I'll watch them over and over again. It doesn't matter if I've seen them, several thousand times. Well, maybe not that many times. But one day I rented all 3 of them and watched them all back to back. And it was like the most awesome experience ever. But back to me being a time traveler, it's not just because I know how the flux capacitor works, but I'm a time traveler because I travel in my mind to the future that I want for myself. And then I live like it's the future in present day until it comes into being. So it reminds me of, I heard a speaker and they were once telling a story about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when he first came to the US, well, there's that fly. I was trying to kill it before the broadcast, but it wants to be like my co-host or whatever, so we'll just roll with it. But I remember them telling the story about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and after he went on to become a professional actor and become very successful and very prosperous, they were asking him, how did you reach such a high level of success? Because when you first came to this country, you could barely speak the language. You have this very thick accent. So how did you overcome those obstacles? And his answer was very interesting to me, because the way he replied was, he said, I got a picture in my mind of what I wanted my life to be, and then I lived into the picture. So if you can think about what you want your life to look like in the future of your business, of your leadership, of your life, and you can travel in time in your mind to a future point and see yourself already doing what you know that you want to do, what you know that you're meant to do, what you know that you're made to do, and then keep that future picture in present day and live like it's already the future. And one day your future and your present will be the same thing.
I love that. That is so cool.
Man.
And it's so needed with leaders to be able to look out into the future and actually make it a reality. That is the call. That is the call of a legendary leader. Now, go ahead. No, you first.
I was just going to say, I believe that's what you're doing, everything that you're doing with this Legendary Leadership Summit. It is about everyone's future, not only the future of the guests that you have, but the future of the attendees, because we're helping to shape and sculpt that future into the future that they want. One thing that I really love, that I always say, is that I'm a person that I consider myself to be on mission I'm possible instead of mission impossible, because so many things, seem impossible. And just like Nelson Mandela said, that all things seem impossible until they're done. Well, Audrey Hepburn, the famous actress Audrey Hepburn,
absolutely.
she had this saying that said, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible.
Yeah.
So then I was looking at, the word, I'm like, if you break it down, you can break it down into the words I'm and possible. So now, like, whenever I feel like I'm going through something, or I don't know how I'm going to overcome a particular obstacle, I just remind myself, and I start playing like the, not the James Bond, but the Mission Impossible theme. But then I'm like, I'm on mission possible.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. And the way you said that just reminded me of this TV show, Kim Possible, which is a whole different story.
I know Kim Possible. My kids used to watch it all the time.
Perfect.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
Before we go on, Cody, I did want to say that I also love to pay it forward, and I love to give things away. So I want everybody to make sure that they stay tuned until the end, because I have some really stellar gifts and some things I'm going to be giving away to the attendees today.
Well, first off, thank you. That is extremely kind and generous of you to do that. And two, thank you again, because I know it's going to be extremely valuable, and it's going to be completely awesome. So I can't wait to hear it, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, one of the things that you said within everything was that you're a time traveler because you look into the future. You get that vision of who you are, and then you make it a reality today. So what is it that is your vision as a leader?
Okay. Well, my vision as a leader, first and foremost, I am a dreamer. But I'm not just a dreamer, I'm a doer. Because you have to be able to take action on your dreams for them to actually come to pass. So when you ask me about my vision as a leader, I think of three things come to mind. One is I have a vision that I want to co-produce the life dreams of 1 million people by helping them to identify their inner greatness and then showing them how to walk in it. So that's my number one vision as a leader. Um, Additionally, my vision as a leader is to be a transformational leader by embracing my own difference to the very fullest, because I know that it's my difference from someone else that's going to allow me to add something to their life that isn't there. And lastly, I would say my vision as a leader is to become a world changer as a result of the experiences that I've gone through in life that have changed me so that I can change the world. So that's pretty much my vision as a leader.
And I love that. And you used a key word that anyone who follows John Maxwell, including me, because I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, will catch on to, which is a transformational leader. And that is extremely close to what I call a legendary leader. It's the people who see that future, they make it a reality, and they impact lives all across the board because of that work they're doing. And that's what you plan on doing with 1 million lives. And that's another thing that legendary leaders do. They have a vision that is so big, most people can't even comprehend how it works. 1 million people is so many people. And because you have that vision, you are more likely to accomplish it than anybody else in the world. And I think that's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. If I can interject, I would love to say it makes me think there's a book in the Bible called the Book of Habakkuk. And in there it says, write the vision and make it plain that they that read it may run with it. So you can have a vision, but when you put it down, when you actually write it down, so that not only does it make it more concrete, but others can read what your vision is and help them to work to achieve their vision as well. Now, the helping co-produce the dreams of 1 million people, I say that because my vision is huge, but what people need to realize is that, okay, that's my vision, but however, my vision is going to spill over into other people's visions, and it's going to be kind of like a river flowing from river to ocean, just massive, going around the world and making a global impact. Because if I can co-produce the dreams of 1 million people, what are those people once they have their dreams? How many people are they going to help transform? And so really you're looking at helping billions, potentially trillions of people,
Absolutely. And as you're talking about this, I'm getting shivers down my spine from how much I can understand and where you're going with all that. Like, yes, I am 100% on board with you. I'm excited for where the rest of this conversation is going. Now, one of the other things you mentioned is that there were some challenges that you faced. So what were some of those challenges that you faced, and how was it that you overcame them?
Wow, challenges. I would say that it seems like I feel like sometimes, honestly, that I've gotten more than my portion of challenges. I think like somebody was like, I'm going to give my challenges away and just go ahead and give them to D, because I have faced so many challenges in life that I've gotten to some points in my life where I'm just like, what's going on? Like this can't even be real. I can't be going through this again or experiencing this, or is anything ever going to change? And I'm so glad that you asked this question, because I know that some of the challenges I've gone through were very discouraging for me, and they caused me to want to give up. But guess what? Legendary leaders don't give up. So they say that quitters never win and winners never quit. So, some of the challenges I've gone through that made me want to quit was I've gone through financial challenges. I've gone through challenges to where I wanted to start a business, and I didn't even have a shoestring budget. I had like the little thing on the end of the shoestring, and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but this is in me. It's a vision that I have. So I know that I'm supposed to do this. Or I would watch different seminars or infomercials, and I would get all inspired and I would get all pumped up. And then when I found out, how much it cost to get in, and I'm looking at my budget, and I'm like, well, could you just put a part in there where you tell me how you went from sleeping in your car to being a multimillionaire? Because I'm kind of missing that piece in between. And I would literally be at home, like crying, like trying to contact these people saying, I promise if you give me your program, I really will do it, but I just, didn't have the money to buy it. So I've gone through some financial challenges. The way that I got over the financial challenges, and it's not to say that they don't come and go, because sometimes you're doing really good. I've been really, high on the hog, so to speak, and then I've had like a dip, where I've gone back down and had to build myself back up. But to get through the financial challenges, one thing I had to do is to stay positive. Of course, my answer for all of the challenges I'm about to share with you is to never give up. So no matter what it looks like, if you can't rub two pennies together, never give up, because everything can change for you in the matter of a moment, in a moment's time. So sometimes you have to come up ideas generate capital. So if you have a great idea and you're able to partner with people, joint venture partnerships, when you don't have the money to make something happen yourself, that can absolutely help generate income if you're going through financial things. And also, excuse me, I'm fixing my little
Okay. Do what you got to do.
But I do what I gotta do, because I'm on mission possible.
That's
Okay,
how
so
it goes. Boom.
It's so funny, because you know what parkour is? Like,
Oh
when
my
people are
God.
hopping and rolling around everything.
So I love parkour. I actually want to start training in parkour at a high level. And I actually recently interviewed someone for my podcast that it hasn't released yet, but who was in the parkour world, who's extremely proficient in the parkour world. And
Get out of here.
super cool. Yeah, no, it just a couple weeks ago, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I know exactly what you're talking about when you say
well,
parkour.
that's so good. Well, I was like kind of joking with my godson once, because like I'm working on getting in shape, and I have like a certain amount of pounds I want to lose, and and I need to work out more and stuff like that. So one day I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing parkour, but until I can really do parkour, I'm gonna do part core. And then I start like rolling around on my living room floor and like hopping on the chair in my living room and doing these little miniature hops and stuff like that. I'm like, I do part core, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do parkour one day. So don't give up, and discover your difference. Discover what makes you special. Discover that thing, because that's what can help you excel financially. Even if it's not today, doesn't mean that it can't be tomorrow. Another challenge I had was an informational obstacles I faced, because there was a lot of things that I wanted to know how to do, but I had no clue how to do them, how to begin. Or even with Google, I could do a Google search, but still, I had that obstacle where I'm not really sure how to do this, or I was a little bit challenged because I may not have wanted to read all the instructions. How they say, if at first you don't succeed, try reading the instructions. Well, I'm so not that person. I like throw the instruction manual out, and because I'm very hands-on, so I kind of like to figure out things myself. But the way that I overcame the obstacle of lack of the information or know-how that I needed was I began to educate myself. And this is not the formal education you were talking about earlier when you were introducing me.
Yeah.
But just, like watching free videos on YouTube. I would attend seminars and boot camps, and every piece of knowledge that I could get that had to do with the things that I was interested in, wanted to accomplish, and wanted to do, that is what I would do. But the number one thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is I got some mentors for myself. And the mentors in my life has made the biggest difference in being able to overcome the obstacle of not knowing how to do something. So I remember one time I had an example. So say for instance that you get this brand new software program, And it's like this really super awesome software that will allow you to be able to do some incredible things. But you have a manual that's going to take you like 8 hours to get through the manual to really, really know how to work the software. Or I could take someone who has mastered the software and they can come and sit with me at my computer and show me hands-on, do this, 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 and that. What would have taken me 8 hours to do, I have mastered in a 1 hour's time, and that is the power of mentorship. So I've gotten mentors, and that has helped me overcome my informational obstacles and even my motivational obstacles, mentors also, because when you face obstacles and challenges in life and in business, and you have suffered through failure so many times, it seems like you're never ever going to be successful, and you don't know whether you should just keep trying if it's real, but if you keep going and you don't give up, that something good really will happen and you really will be successful, or if you should just quit while you're ahead. Well, I've had days where I couldn't get off the couch. I've had days where I closed the blinds and pulled the curtains shut and sat in the dark literally for 8 hours straight, not eating, not drinking, because I was so depressed and discouraged. And I'm just talking about this because this is real. I mean, you see me on camera now, you might see other videos and things that I do. You might see me when I'm on stage, and you never think about that time when I was shut up in a room in the dark, not wanting to give up. But what I did was I used my mentors then too, and other mentors that I don't know personally, but like Dr. Eric Thomas, he's a motivational speaker. I got some of his videos. Like one video he has talks about a champion's workout does not begin until pain arrives. And so that your victory is on the other side of your pain. And I would literally plug that into my earphones and just hit play over and over again. It would stop and I'd hit play until I could get off the couch, until I could open up my laptop, until I could start working on my vision again. So these are a few ways, but mainly number one is mentors, ideas, action, creativity, and never, ever giving up, even when I felt like it.
That is absolutely wonderful. And those are a lot of the different things that leaders today need in their lives in order to go from being a leader to a legendary leader. They need that outside assistance, whether it's a mentor or a coach or a counselor or, whatever plethora of other things are out there. They need the information. They need people to be teaching them or their teams about these things. They need to not give up in the face of adversity, because there's so much adversity in the world. And there are so many people who are ready to say, no, you can't do it. And are you going to let them determine that? The legendary leader says, no, I'm not going to let them determine that. The legendary leader flies in the face of that and says, I'm going to do it anyways, and I'm going to succeed at it. And that's what they do. Now that's also powerful. And within the context of this summit, one of the things we're trying to target on for today is generating reproducible, monumental results. Now,
Yes.
Do you have any quotes or pieces of advice around this that you believe are going to help people actually generate those reproducible, monumental results?
Absolutely, I do. And before I give you this one piece of advice, I would really like to touch on, you mentioned adversity. So I've faced a lot of adversity, and I have one mentor. His name is Dr. Mike Murdoch, and I remember hearing him speak about adversity once, and I have carried this with me for years through life because it impacted me so much. So you can actually look at adversity as your opposition's response to your progress. So if you don't have any adversity, it means that you're not making progress. But if you do experience adversity, it means that you're at least making progress. So you can take comfort in that in the midst of your adversity. Now, there's 4 different ways that any one person can respond to adversity. You can either maximize it, you can minimize it, you can advertise it, or you can analyze it. Okay? So when you maximize your adversity, you make more of a big deal out of it than it really is. When you minimize your adversity, you make a smaller deal out of it than what it really is. When you advertise your adversity, you tell everybody about what you're going through. Oh, I've gone through this, I'm going through this, and you just tell everybody you come into contact with. But when you analyze your adversity, you extract useful information from it so that you can overcome it. So I just wanted to share that piece real quick on adversity. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And as far as generating the reproducible monumental results, one quote comes to mind, and the super sales person extraordinaire, Zig Ziglar, is the one who said this. And he said, you can have everything in life that you want if you will just help other people get what they want. So a lot of people say it as if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And I think it's because as business people, as entrepreneurs, and most of all, as legendary leaders that do or are able to generate reproducible, monumental results, we are first servants. We are out here serving people. We are giving people what it's going to take for them to be able to make it in life, for them to be able to achieve certain things in life. So if we give enough people what they want, we're going to have what we want. And those results are going to be generated. They're going to be reproducible. They are going to be monumental, and they are going to be legendary.
You want to hear something extremely funny? And it's you had no idea about this. I don't think anyone does right now.
Okay.
This mug that I have in my hand right now,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that is the Zig Ziglar quote that you just quoted.
Whoa. You know, some things are just, it's not a coincidence. Like, this is, you know, these are things connecting within the universe and the cosmos and everything. You know, this was already set up. You know, we didn't talk about this beforehand, right?
At all. No,
that was way that I could have known that.
No.
That's amazing. And, you know, my. Drink from your cup. What cup are you drinking from, people?
Yeah, that's the question. What cup are you drinking from, right? Are you drinking from one that gives you life and that brings life into other people? Or are you drinking from a different cup? The one I'm drinking from, it's got a quote from Zig Ziglar that is extremely needed in the world. It needs to be known, and it's powerful in its ability to create monumental, reproducible results.
Right. And I just imagine, since, you know, you're drinking from that cup, you know, like every time, you know, that water or whatever you have in there is going into your body, I feel like the essence of that quote, the essence of that quote is flowing with it too, you know, on a whole nother level, on a whole nother dimensional plane. So
absolutely. Now, I know that you've got a phrase that you like to say, and I would love for you to tell me what you mean when you say the significance of your difference.
Okay. It's so funny because I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is the phrase, Cody? I'm like, what is he going to say? Do I know the answer? Okay. Well, yes, the significance of your difference. And I'm going to tell you about that. But what I have to do is I'm going to do things differently. How about that?
All right.
So
change up. Let's do it.
In between the break, I'm just going to actually insert something. So while I was waiting on the break, I was actually sitting here and something came to mind. And let me call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 L's. The 7 L's. And it is that legendary leaders live large and leave lasting legacies. So let me say that again.
Oh, wow. So, say it again. Say it slow.
Okay. Legendary leaders live large and leave lasting legacies. So I just got that during the break while we're sitting here when I was waiting for my session to come on. So now that I've gotten that out, let me tell you about the significance of your difference, or what I mean by that. It means that the thing that you have to offer that is different from what anybody else has is your point of significance in the world, or your significance is your point of difference. So just imagine, what if everybody was, exactly the same? What if this we had lived in a world full of androids or whatever, and everybody was exactly the same? You are unique. You have something that only you can offer. And even if you have the same business as someone else, there is still the uniqueness of who you are and how you offer it. So that is your significance, is your difference. It's your spin on it. It's your twist. It's your personality. It's your essence. It's your drive, And so one time I read this book called The Purple Cow. And so,
Okay.
Usually, so you see the Jersey cows, you see the black and white cows, you see the black cows, the white cows, the brown cows, or whatever. But you don't really usually drive down the road and see a purple cow per se. So
Exactly.
this book, The Purple Cow, and that's exactly what it was about. It was profiling different businesses that had set themselves apart. So this is the significance of your difference. So for example, one of the businesses they talk about in this book is Starbucks. So Starbucks, they may not have the best coffee in the entire world, but they did something different with coffee. They created an atmosphere around coffee consumption. So they put in very convenient locations. They became a meeting place. They had Wi-Fi, and it was just this whole experience of drinking coffee that just wanted to make you be there and wanted to make you be a part of it. Or when you had to meet somebody, that's where you wanted to meet them. So I mean, lots of people sell coffee, right?
Yeah,
But they sell
tons
off
of people sell
Starbucks
coffee.
because Starbucks is a purple cow, And I mean, it's just like Southwest Airlines. You don't get. I mean, I call it the cattle call, because you don't get like a seat assignment with Southwest. I mean, I've been around for a long time, so I know that in recent years, at least you get a boarding group. You're like A, B, or C or whatever, and you're trying to hit that button exactly 24 hours before your flight takes off, so you can get in the A group. And I can time it down to the second, but they got those people that like registered for the upgrade or whatever, so I never get like A1, no matter how quick I am on the draw. But like Southwest, they're known as the Love Airlines, and I read the book, also the book Nuts, and it's about Southwest Airlines, and they talk about, most businesses say the customer is always right, or they put the customer first, but Southwest Airlines actually puts their employees first, and then they treat their employees like royalty, and in turn, the employees have been treated so good by the company that they treat all of their customers really, really well, because it just keeps going on, and it keeps flowing, and they're also a cost leader. Now, everybody's not going to be a cost leader, but 2 bags fly free, and they have these phenomenal specials, and their fares are generally pretty low. But I can remember like a commercial they had a long time ago, and it was like on an airplane, and the little tray that you put down when they serve the snacks and stuff. So it just like threw like some peanuts across the tray, and it said, most of our meals look like this, but so do most of our fares, and it's just like, they are a purple cow. They're like super, super special. So the significance of your difference, it means being the purple cow. It means being different. It means what you have that's different from everyone else, and that becomes your point of significance in your life as a leader, in your life as a legendary leader, and in your life as an entrepreneur, and your life as a speaker, or whatever it is that you do, mom, dad, friend. It's all the significance of your difference in any role that you play in life. And you also really, to live in the significance of your difference, you have to be able to identify your purpose. And I always explain to people that the definition to the word purpose is the reason why a thing exists. So like, the purpose of this chair is for me to have a place to sit down. The purpose of my webcam is to be able to, broadcast me to you right now. The purpose of my car is to transport me from point A to point B. So I want to encourage you that if you are present watching this, or will watch this at any point in the future, there's that fly, Yeah, the purpose of a fly swatter is to kill this fly. So
Get out of here.
I know, right? Get out of here. So if you're alive, if you're living, if you're breathing, it means that you have purpose because you exist. But just because you have purpose doesn't necessarily mean that you know what your purpose is. So you need to be able to identify your purpose to be able to have the significance of your difference, because that's operating in your purpose. So real quick before we move on, because I don't want to take up too much time on this, but for instance, if you need to identify your purpose, you need to figure out, what do you do? What do you notice that nobody else does? Because like a tailor will notice a button that isn't properly spaced on a suit, or a little string hanging from it that nobody else would even notice. Or a musician or a singer will notice somebody who's off key that nobody else even notices. So what do you notice that nobody else does? What are you better at than anybody else? And that is your significance, because it is your point of difference, and it is a key to what your purpose is in life.
And that's so powerful, because I think what happens so often is that people see these things in their lives, but they don't actually put any weight behind it. They know it's there. They can tell when the key is off, but then they always focus on all the things that are wrong. They focus on the problems. They focus on what they're not good at, instead of finding what the significance is in their difference.
Absolutely. Can I tell a story?
Yeah, I would love to hear a story.
Awesome. So everything that I say right now, all of these stories has truly been sparked by something that you've said. So it's just awesome when you get into a flow like that. But what you just said, that people focus on what's wrong with them sometimes more than what's right with them. So there's a story about this man that he lived in a village. And so one of his jobs was that he would have to go through the trail in the mountain to go to the water, to the river, the spring, actually to fill up the water pots to bring clean water back to the village. And so have you ever seen those long poles, and they have like a pot on one end and a pot on the other end?
Absolutely.
Well, he would rest that pole on his shoulders, and the pots would be on each end, and then he would go to the water spot and he would fill up the pots. Well, one pot was absolutely perfect, and the other pot had a crack in it. So by the time he would get back to the village, the pot with the crack in it would only be like half of the way full, while the other pot was all the way full. So one day, and this is kind of like a cartoon kind of thing where pots can talk. Like kind of like Beauty and the Beast, where all the dishes and stuff can talk. So one day the pot with the crack in it was so sad, and the pot that didn't have the crack in it said, like, what's wrong? And he said, well, I'm so disappointed in myself because I have this crack in myself, and when he goes to get to water, he works so hard to go get the water on this long journey, and by the time he brings it back, I can't even bring back all the water that was put in me. So the one who would fetch the water said to the pot that was cracked, that was so disappointed in himself, looking at his imperfection, is he said, why do you think all these years I haven't fixed the crack in your pot? Now I know that you feel a little imperfect, and I know you feel disappointed with yourself, but on the side of the pathway of the pot that doesn't have a crack in it, look at how everything is so brown and so dry. But on the side of the path that I walk with you when you're leaking, there are greenery, there are beautiful flowers for the insects and the animals to enjoy, and for us to just enjoy life more. So you may have an imperfection, but out of your imperfection has become something beautiful has come out of that. So it means that, even if you have something in life, if you have a flaw, don't just focus on the thing that you feel like is wrong with you. Realize that something beautiful can come out of that. Every challenge you've gone through, every experience you've had in life, every difficulty that you've experienced, everything that has made you feel less than perfect, less than worthy. It just makes you that much more worthy, because it's going to help somebody else that is feeling that same way realize that they can do it too.
Absolutely. That is such a powerful message, because again, so many people only see the crack,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not seeing the beautiful pastures that they're creating
Mm,
because of the crack, or that they're able to create because of the crack. And
absolutely.
within that, I've got a question, and tell me just what you think with this. But for people who have cracks, how can they transition from having the crack and only focusing on the crack to being able to understand how they can differentiate themselves, and what about them does differentiate themselves from everyone else?
Okay, well, the sky was all purple. There were people running everywhere. Well, I mean, not really, but the year was 1999, I think. If you guys don't get that reference, it's from not Purple Rain. Was it Purple Rain? Or 2000 party over, oops, out of time. It was a Prince song, 1999. That was the album, 1999. So anyway, I'm sitting around in the year 1999, and I'm watching the GQ Man of the Year Awards. And before they introduced this one recipient, they had a collage of his life on the screen. And when they began to talk about him, they said these words. They said, with one strum of the guitar, you know exactly whose music it is. And so they introduced him, and the winner that year was Santana. And he goes on stage and he says, my father taught me how to play the guitar, but while he was teaching me, he taught me how to get inside of the note. Because he said, if you learn how to get inside of the note, you can then fingerprint it. And if you fingerprint it, then even if your name isn't on it, people will know it came from you. So I believe that legendary leaders and business leaders and entrepreneurs can differentiate themselves by learning how to get inside of the note, so to speak. So music may not be your thing, but whatever your thing is, whether it's cooking or coaching, relationship coaching, or whatever, have your trademark, build your brand, get inside of that thing and put your fingerprint on it, because every single person's fingerprint is different. Every fingerprint is different. So get inside of it and put your little fingerprint on it. That's how you can differentiate yourself. Give exceptional service. Be exceptional and be humble at the same time. Don't be cocky. Nobody likes anybody that's cocky, but be exceptional and be humble. Be grateful as you serve others. Be a person that's just grateful. Sometimes when I have a lot of things going on in life that are really disappointing, I will just pause for a moment, and then I'll take time to make a list of every single thing in my life that I have to be grateful for, no matter how small it is. I woke up this morning. Man, I have a roof over my head. I may not have as much square footage as I want, but somebody's homeless right now. I have clean water. I don't have to walk 2 miles to get dirty water that might have diseases in it. So I just start writing down every single thing that, my car's on empty. Oh, but I have a car. I'm not waiting at the bus stop, or riding my bike or walking. So I think about everything, and that also keeps me humble, and it keeps me grateful, and it helps me be happy as I serve others, no matter what the situation is in my life. I also believe a way that you can differentiate yourself in business is to give outstanding support. So if you have an online course, or if you mentor or you teach something in some way, or you have some type of offering, no matter what it is, what your product or service is to give outstanding support. Go above and beyond the call of duty. This fly is really driving me crazy. But anyway, have tons of content, start throwing stuff out there. Like I'm so self-conscious about so many things. Like I can never get my makeup right, or my eyes will start watering and I have like these little black clown tears or whatever, or, my hair is too frizzy, or it's lopsided, or I'm not skinny enough, or, I need to go get dental work done, or my outfit doesn't look right. Like I'm so self-conscious. You have no idea, but you wouldn't believe that about me because, I put myself out there. I'm doing videos all the time because one of the ways that you differentiate yourself and one of the ways that you become legendary and one of the ways that you generate reproducible, monumental results is to put yourself out there. You have to have tons of content and have twists in your content, have little acronyms, have little things that make you stand out, that make you different from other people. And one day I had to realize that my message was more important than my appearance, or what my perception of my appearance was, that my message was mightier than that. So that's one way you differentiate yourself. Have awesome attributes, have a wow factor, have great stories, be a storyteller, give often, give more. And this is what I would encourage everybody to do, is to make a list of all of your gifts, talents, and skills. Make a list of all of them, and then find ways to incorporate your strongest gifts, skills, and talents into your business.
I love all of that. That's phenomenal advice, because the act of thinking about all of your gifts and then writing it down. So many people have a general concept of what those gifts are and what those talents are, and it kind of floats in their head, but they never put it down. They never allow it to be actually seen by themselves.
True. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good.
I'm so full. I feel like a volcano that's erupting. Like there's just so much like in me right now. And well, the other day I was thinking about being different, and I was thinking about the significance of your difference. So I just wrote down the word different on a piece of paper, and then I decided to write a sentence on, with the first letter the letter of each letter of the word, not the first letter of the word.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Okay, right. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm like, can we have the interpreter for D speak? So I wrote the word different down, and I came up with do things differently, do what others in your industry don't do. And then I took the I and I said, identify with your target market and work to understand them and know what they want. And then the F was find your golden goblet. And it was funny that you were drinking from the cup with the whole Zig Ziglar thing. That's your goblet today, And this is what you can give your clients that they are most thirsty for. And then flavor your content and your offers. Let it have a little bit of flavor, put a little bit of spice on it, shake that cinnamon on it or that red pepper. And then earn the trust and respect of your clients and prospective clients with your service and your credibility. The R was for repeat the things that bring good results and cease the things that don't. So repeat the things that bring good results and cease the things that don't. E is for embrace change. Resist the temptation to stay the same, because it's human nature to resist change, but embrace change. And then N is never fail to keep your promises and your word with people. Never fail to keep your promises and your word with people. And lastly, the T is tell the story of why you are different and encourage others to share and tell your story as well. Because when you are different, when you set yourself apart, you're going to have a story, tell it. but it's going to be so impactful that people are going to want to share your story with others.
That was so powerful, and just all of that. And I'd love to dive into all of those, but I don't think we're going to have enough time to dive into all of those. But I mean, that so much amazing information within that. And I think the typical way you call it is an acrostic. I think that's the technical term for it. English and all that fun stuff.
You're such a smarty.
I like to believe it. I don't know if that's actually true. I like to believe it's true, but hey, I'll leave that to other people.
You've mastered the humility.
Thank you. And what's so powerful with everything you've shared so far is this is so easy to think about in your own life. And as someone who wants to be a legendary leader, you have the opportunity to think about each and every single one of these things, not just for you, but for every single person you lead.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Now, as much as I would love to dive into each of those, one, I didn't write them down because there was so much flowing at me at once that I can't remember all of it. Two, there's not enough time to dive into those. But something that I do know is that you're a book publisher. You're not a book publisher, but you have published books and some great ones. And with this, I'd love to know just a little bit about how you came to publish your first book.
Oh, I'd love to share that story with you. And it's kind of like, have you ever had that experience where in life where you just always know that you're meant to do something, or you've always loved something for as long as you can remember, whether it was like, basketball or singing or dancing? That's my story. I've been a writer for as long as I can remember. Like when I was a little girl, I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, and we had basements there. I live in Arizona now. We don't have basements here, but we had a basement, and my dad used to have this big giant desk that he got from work down in our basement. And I would go down to the basement and sit at his desk, and I would write books, and I would take like construction paper and typing paper, and I would draw my illustrations, and I would write stories, and I would get the stapler and staple them together. And I literally have these little homemade books at home. And like my mom was my hugest fan, and I would read her my stories, and I was like, oh Mom, I have another book. And she would always be like so happy. So, as I grew up, because I always loved to write, I continued to write, and I wrote poetry, and I did creative writing, and I was just always a writer. When I graduated from college, my mom told me, she asked me to publish. She said, you should really publish your writing because it's really good. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll publish. And so then, years went by, and I never published anything. And then my mom came back to me again, being my biggest fan. And she was like, Dee, you really need to publish your work. You really need to publish some books. And I was like, okay, I will, Mom, I will. But, life got in the way, and I had kids, and I had jobs, and I just did all the stuff, and I just kept putting it on the back burner. So then one day my mom came to me, and like, she was mad. And my mom was like the nicest person in the world. That when she gets mad, it took a lot to make her mad, but once she got mad, you wanted to get out of her way.
And knew it.
Oh, man. And so she came at me, and she said, just give me your writings and I'll publish it.
Like, if you won't do it, I'll do it.
I know. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I said, Mom, like, calm down. I was like, put away the gun. I'll publish my books, right? So, and of course, I still didn't do it. And what happened was, unfortunately, my mom, she was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And 6 months later, she was gone and I hadn't published anything. And the only thing I could think was, I'm a liar. I am a liar. And I didn't keep my promise. And that's when I realized that procrastination is the thief of dreams. Mm. And I made a vow that I would never, ever let procrastination steal from me again. And then I thought about, school, because like when I was in graduate school, they give you this impossible amount of reading to do, all of these assignments. And if you don't get the assignment turned in on time, then you get points deducted, or you may not get credit at all. You may get an F on the assignment. And so I was really committed in school. Like I wanted straight A's, so I made sure that I always got all of my assignments done in time. And then it occurred to me, I said, if I can do that in school for something that a professor asked me to do, why would I do something more of what somebody else asked of me than I would even do for my own self? And then I realized that my mother believed in me more than I believed in myself, because she kept going on and she kept encouraging me to do it. So the first thing that I did was I published an article on the internet. I just went to the quickest publishing resource that I had, which was an online article. And so I jumped on and I wrote an article about what I knew right at that moment, which was what I went through with my mom. And I published an article called Pancreatic Cancer, Living from Diagnosis to Death, the Diary of a Cancer Patient's Daughter. I didn't even think anybody would see this article. I just wrote it, and I wrote about the experience. It was 5,000 words. I even put my phone number in the article. And as it turns out, 30,000 people read this article. I started getting phone calls in the middle of the night from all different countries in the world. People were calling me from the West Indies. People were calling me from England. People were calling me, from all over the place, because my article gave them hope. My article made them feel like they had somebody that they could go to ask questions from, to help them to get through the experience that they were going through. And I just wrote it not even knowing what an impact it was. I have friends to this day that I know because they read the article, and we're still connected. And so it was so incredible. So I put that out, and then I went on, and then I would always post my poems on social media. So I post my poems on Facebook, and then people started commenting on my poems, and they started saying, where's your book? We want to buy your book. And I'm like, well, I don't have a book. And then I realized I had posted 200 poems on Facebook. And I was like, well, why don't I have a book? Because that's like a book's worth of poems. So I took the 200 poems, did a copy and paste, hired somebody to format it for me, and then I published my first book. Was called Abstract Poetry for Life. And then after that, I met somebody online who loved my poetry, and he's an artist that lives in India. I've never spoken to him on the phone. I've never met him in person. I chatted with him a couple times in the chat box on Facebook, but I said, you know what, I got an idea. I said, your artwork is absolutely incredible. And he loved my writing, and I love the rain, and I love nature. And I said, let's do a book together. I said, send me everything you have on rain and nature, and I'll write some, poetic expressions and writings to go with it. And so we have never met each other or talked to each other on the phone, but we have a book together called Rain in the Wind, and it's a collection of art and poetry. So legendary. Doing things outside of the norm, doing things that other people don't do, not feeling like you have to follow the rules, just come and say, you can't do that. Well, I did it. So how can you tell me that I can't do it? Because I did it. And then I was thinking about the grief, because my mom and I were so close, and that when she died, I literally didn't know how to live. Like, I got up every day and I was like, well, what do I do now? Because her and I, we spoke every single day. And one day I was so devastated over her being gone that I wanted to talk to her just like so bad. And I was just like in tears, literally. And so I decided to send her an email, because I'm kind of goofy like that. But sorry, I was putting my timer on so I could, keep up with the time. So I sent her an email, and it was really short. And I just said, Mom, I'm sorry. I wish I'd have been a better daughter. Because no matter how good of a child you are or whatever it is for somebody that you've lost, once they're gone, you always feel like you could have done more, So I was like, I wish I had been a better daughter. I love you and I miss you. And so like a couple of weeks went by, and one day I went to check my email and I had a response in my inbox. And I was like, O to the M to the G. Like, what's up right now? So I opened up the email and it said, I love you and miss you too. But what I didn't realize was that my dad was still checking my mom's email. And then I contacted him and I was like, Dad, are you checking mom's email? He was like, no. I was like, don't you lie to me right now. And then so he was like, yeah. He said, but I just felt like you needed to hear that. And what I realized is that it was such a great release for me to just be able to send that message to her, even though I couldn't actually talk to her. So I wrote a book called Does Heaven Have a Post Office? Letters to My Dearly Departed Mother. And I put like poems and poetry and original quotes of wisdom. I shared different near-death experiences from people, which I actually included my own, which I have one of my own. And I also put in like 26 letters, I think it was, of things that I wanted to tell my mom about, things that she taught me growing up or things that had happened since she was gone that I wanted to tell her. And then I opened up the book and I invited other people to send in a letter to me that I would publish in the book to their dearly departed loved one. And it was just like, for some people, it was breakthrough, or it was monumental, because for some people, they had lost loved ones and it had been years, but they were still holding on to the grief and they had never actually released it. So there were people that when they went to write the letter after their parents had been gone for years, they just broke out into tears and broke down and were actually able to finally release that grief. So it was a tremendous project, and I'm happy that I did it. I'm sorry for what had to happen for me to finally get off my butt and do what I was supposed to be doing all along. But anyway, that's my story of how I published my first book.
Like, oh my goodness. Like my heart is just in like this mixture of happiness and pain, and I'm feeling all the feels from
all the feels
from that story. Like that is so powerful. And what I find so powerful within the context of legendary leadership within all of this is, so often people think about legendary leadership as someone who leads a corporation or someone who leads a nonprofit, and they're doing things in the world that, that require thousands of people. But what I heard in that story was the legendary leader for you wasn't some CEO, wasn't some person who's, out in Africa doing work with, with disadvantaged people and all, like that's not who it was for you. The legendary leader in your life was your mother.
Yes.
She was the person who completely changed your life. She was the person who saw the value in you from a young age. She was the one who allowed you to express that from the time that it was just a small little stapled together book, right? That you read to her, and she was the only person that heard it. She was the one who continued to push you to do your own writing. She was the one, even in death, who continues to drive you to do the amazing work you want to do in life. And she is the one who not only was a legendary leader in your life, but she was the one who created a legendary leader in her stead, who is going out in the world with the skill that was developed from a young age, with the skill that even though you didn't know how it was going to end up, you just decided to go along with it. That is now impacting thousands upon thousands of lives.
Yes.
She was the legendary leader. And that is so powerful because so many people think I have to do something outrageous and big to become a legendary leader.
Mm-hmm.
But she was the legendary leader. She impacted one life that had such a dramatic impact that is changing thousands more lives. If she had not been that leader, the question would be, would you have even gone on to impact all these other lives? If you didn't have that one legendary leader in your life doing what some people would consider the small things, the ripple effect would have never happened to the space that it has now. And oh my gosh, the incredible things that are going on with that.
Yes. Yes, indeed. You know, the thing I was telling you about when I was in college and they gave us deadlines for the papers we had to hand in, that's actually how I got the second book done, because the first book, was just like cut and paste. I had already written all the poems, but the second book was 87,000 words, and that I actually wrote. So what I did was I made myself a deadline for every chapter and acted like it was an assignment in my master's degree program. And if I didn't get it done on time, that I was either going to get points deducted or I was going to receive an F. And that's how I got through that book.
And what I love in that is everyone has a style that works really well for them and a style that doesn't work so well for them. And for you, it's creating that deadline that you have to meet no matter what. Because when the deadline wasn't there, you didn't do it.
Right. I was a chronic procrastinator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you did put that deadline on it, you did everything to make sure it got done anyways, even though it was tough, even though it was a pain, even though it was challenging. I mean, 87,000 words is nothing to laugh at. That is an incredible amount of words to be writing. And by putting the deadline on it, you did it. You got it done.
Absolutely. And others, I want others out there to know that they can as well. As a matter of fact, while we're on the subject of book publishing, is it okay if I share about a couple of different book projects?
I would love to hear about the book projects that you're working on. I was actually going to ask about some of the stuff you're working on next. So that perfect segue.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I think you did mention it in the introduction, but my newest book is called Muscle Memory Millionaire. It actually goes into pre-launch on this coming Tuesday, and it's going to be available in ebook and printed formats. I definitely do recommend the printed format, but the pre-launch is coming Tuesday, so the actual launch where it will be available is not going to happen until next month. But Muscle Memory Millionaire, there's a reason I want for every single person to be able to have this book, and it's because the concept behind this book is muscle memory is like, it's something that surgeons have. So if a surgeon does the same surgery so many times, they could actually do it blindfolded because their hands automatically know where to go. They've done it so much that it becomes muscle memory. So I have taken the concept of muscle memory and applied it to business concepts, and I help show people how they can develop the habits, different habits on a daily basis that will help to automate their success. And I think it's just going to be absolutely groundbreaking, life-changing, talking about generating reproducible, monumental results, talking about being a legendary leader. I want everybody to have this. And so that's why I'm going to encourage you to get the ebook when I'm doing pre-launch, because when you do a pre-launch, I've got to let the ebook go for just 99 cents. But later on, it's going to be a lot more. But I'm not really concerned about the money as I am you getting this content in your hands, because it's life-changing. Another thing that I want to tell you about is a book that I did recently. It's not available. I don't offer it for sale to the general public, But what happened is that I recently went to a boot camp, a speaking boot camp, and I'm part of Inspirational Speakers Masterclass. And one night I was thinking about all the things I learned in the boot camp. So this fly driving me crazy.
Get out of here.
Am I on candid camera? No. So anyway, I got out my notes from the boot camp, and there were so many phenomenal things and different things where we have to set goals and, work on our vision and work on our message and different things that I was looking at in the notes. And I just decided, I have several events that I'm going to be attending over the next year. And I said, you know what? I want all my stuff in one place, and I would love to make something available to other people that are a part of the masterclass. So I actually composed and published a book in 24 hours.
Wow.
And it is, I think it's 462 pages. And the way I did that, I know.
Hold on, 1 second. How many pages in 24 hours?
462, but I'm going to tell you the secret, okay?
Oh my goodness, my mind just was like.
So you won't think that I'm like Flash Gordon or something like that. But I went to this, there's a leadership summit I go to every year. It's called, I think it's called the, it's a leadership summit. I can't remember what it's called, but it's broadcast in like over 109 countries with like 400,000 leaders in attendance. And they have different satellite spots where you can go in and tune in your local city, and then it's broadcast out of Chicago. So that's the future I see for this, by the way, where we're broadcasting to 500,000 people. So I was at this conference, and there's this guy, I don't remember his name, but he's a best-selling author, and the name of his book is called The Idea Book. So he gets up and he's like, I'm a best-selling author, here's my book and everything. And he said, but most of the pages in my book are blank because they're space for you to write your ideas in. So he has a best-selling book, like I think it's like on the New York Times bestseller list, and most of the book is blank. So I'm just like, I know what to do now. So what I did was, so the pages in my book, they aren't blank, but I have allowed my reader to become my co-author. So I have actually 365 pages for people to write down the different things that they need to be doing and tracking, and the things that they need to change on a daily basis as they work towards their goals. It's actually called Golden Goals. I have this is the pre-final copy. Can you see that?
Ooh, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you see how thick that is?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But like, I have different things written down that I learned in the class, different notes, different instructions of things you're supposed to do, places where they can take notes at the other training conferences, a place where they can list their goals, list future goals, write their stories and their message and different things like that. So it's just very, very powerful, and it's something that's going to empower the person. But I was able to do it. And so after I did it, I was like, man, I literally composed this book, put it together in 24 hours. And so now I'm going to do like the extreme self-publishing blueprint. That's going to be like an online webinar, and it's going to show people how they can put together and publish a book in 24 to 48 hours. And I literally go through everything they need to know in the webinar, and then I lead them, if they want to go on, I lead them to another private webinar where I actually offer them the template it's already pre-formatted with everything, and they can just go in and drop their own content in it, and then use the pages that they want their reader to be able to fill in. That's tailored to their particular business. So I'm super excited about that. And I know we're kind of running out of time.
Oh, we still got at least 10 minutes of conversation. So don't quit on me now.
No. I'm not going to quit on you, but I just want to tell everybody that you can absolutely be legendary, and that you are legendary, and something legendary is on the inside of you, and the world is screaming for you to let it out. literally. So be renowned, be celebrated, be famed for what you do, set yourself apart, let your difference be your significance so that you can generate those reproducible, monumental results. And before we go, because I do want to have offer a little bit of question and answer time, but I'm going to go ahead and offer the free gift now so I can get that out the way.
Okay.
And then we can go back, and if that's okay with you, Cody, because
Hey,
you're the boss. You're the
hey.
legendary leader here, and I'm here to follow.
Oh, well, see, you're the legendary leader that I'm interviewing, and I am here to follow you down the path that you're guiding people.
You know, it makes me think there's I remember I saw this demonstration done when I was in attendance of something, and they took, maybe 7 or 8 people, and they had them line up from front to back. And so I want everybody that's in attendance in this Legendary Leadership Summit to imagine all of the attendees for the Legendary Leadership Summit. Say that we were all in a room together. And I want you to imagine us lining up in a line, and Cody's at the front of the line, and then somebody's in the back of the line, okay? And we're all lined up behind him. And then we say, about face or whatever. I'm such a civilian. I'm not really military, so I don't know what that is. But you turn all the way around, right? Or you do a 180. So you turn around. So before Cody was the leader, but now the person that was at the end of the line is the leader. Okay? And then you tell everybody to turn to the side. So then that we're all at the same level, partners in leadership. And so that's what we are at the summit. Sometimes one of us is leading, and then sometimes another one of us is leading. But we are all side by side as legendary leaders. No matter where you are in the lineup, you're all legendary and you're all leaders. So
absolutely.
Just wanted to share that. So one of the gifts that I'm going to be giving does require some instructions. For you to follow some instructions. Okay. So this is pretty exciting. One of the businesses that I have also built from the ground up is a travel business. It's an online travel platform that has a discount travel membership. So I help people get up to 70% off of travel and entertainment and concerts, events, and dining and stuff like that. So I just did this discount travel membership. It's not anything, that I plan to, get mega rich off of something. I just created it because I love to travel so much, and traveling can be so expensive that I found out all these different ways to save money on travel. So I created partnerships with huge travel companies like Hotwire.com, Booking.com, and Kiwi.com, and Book VIP. So I brought them all together onto one platform and turned it into a discount travel membership that is only, you pay one time and you have no monthly fees, and it's a lifetime membership. So nice. I just wanted to give something to people. So I kind of did it more for fun than anything. But one of the things that I do with the travel memberships is I give away complimentary luxury vacation stays. So my first gift today is going to be a 3-day luxury stay at either Las Vegas, Nevada, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or Orlando, Florida. You have to, if you want to take the complimentary stay in those locations, this fly!
Oh. I was like, what happened to the vacation? Where'd it go?
Vacation, the fly makes me need a vacation.
Oh my goodness.
You have to live at least, I believe 150 or 100 miles outside. So you can't live in Orlando and take my complimentary Orlando vacation. You'll have to take the Las Vegas or the Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But the reason this is my first gift is because legendary leaders, if you're going to be a person that sets yourself apart, you have to be a person that understands balance. So sometimes we overwork ourselves to achieve the status that's legendary. However, if we are run down, overworked, worn out, we won't be able to do anything for anybody, and we won't be able to lead anybody anywhere. So I would like for you to take advantage of this, because I know that there are some very hardworking leaders that are on this telesummit, and I want you to take some time for yourself to enjoy, even if it's just a few days, get away. I want you to do this on me. This is my gift to you. Okay.
That's incredible.
Now, right. Okay. So this is the way it works for the complimentary vacation, because I know you probably have some questions and I can answer those later offline as well. The way that it works is that the only thing that they require you to pay is like the room tax and the resort fee. So for instance, 3 days at the Westgate Resort, which is a beautiful resort in Las Vegas, totals about $58. And that's the total. It's not per night. It's the whole thing.
Wow.
That you do not have to attend a timeshare presentation when you receive this from me, because I set it up like this so that you don't have to sit through the timeshare presentation and have somebody try to sell you something. What their philosophy is that they have rooms that they don't sell. And if that room is empty, that room is still going to be there. But if you're in that room, you might spend money in the gift shop. You might spend money at the restaurant. You might spend money at the spa. So they'll be better off with you in that room than without you being in that room. That's why you don't have to do the timeshare presentation. And the only thing you have to worry about is transportation. So the way that you're going to be able to claim this free gift is by going to one of my business Facebook pages, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for you in just a minute. And I know somebody's going to share it in the chat box. I believe Tony Kaufman will. But you can find me. It's D. Collins Success Creator. And if you're on Facebook, you can find it by going into the search box and putting @D. Collins Official. That's the @ D. Collins Official. Before the summit started today, I already set up a post on that page. So what you need to do is go to the page, like the page, and then find the post about this free gift for the people who attend the summit. All you do is like the post and just put Legendary Leadership Summit in the comments, and then I will contact you and private message you so that I can make sure you know how to claim your complimentary 3-day luxury stay. Okay, now the second gift is I am giving you 2 templates. So I created this vision board once. You know, we should all have vision boards. If we don't, we talked about writing a vision and making it plain. So what I did was I took my vision board to the next level because I'm really, really serious about having a vision. And what I did was I graphically designed each thing. So the way to create a vision board is you make a list of the things that you want in your life. So if you want to be able to give money to charity, what you do is you have one square and it'll have the charity or how much you want to donate to charity. So it'll be like give to charity. Then you need to put down how much per month you need to be able to fulfill that vision in your life. So if you want to give $500 a month to charity, you put $500. Then you go down to the next square, the car you want to drive, the house you want to live in with a picture of each of them. If you want to do leisure travel and have time freedom in your life, if there's other businesses that you want to build, put those businesses on that vision board. If you want to be a world changer and have a global impact, put a picture of the world and put that on there. And you have a budget for each amount. And then what I did was I arranged these squares with all my different visions on a giant 3-foot by 4-foot poster board. So it's like mega huge, right? Yeah. So I did it digitally, saved it as a PDF file, emailed it over to the printer, and I had them print it on the 3-dimensional cork board. So it's like so like awesome. It's like huge. And I have it sitting by my front door. And I want to give this gift of the legendary, monumental vision board to you guys. So that's what I'm doing. And so not only do I have a vision board, because I figured out that you can have a vision board, but if all you have is a vision, that's all it's ever going to be. You got to have action to bring the vision to pass. So what I did was, for every square on my vision board, I created a plan of action square, and then I created a plan of action board, which shows exactly how to achieve the vision board. So what I've done was I threw up the night before last, I threw up a little quick website, and I actually created a template for you. And it's 2 PowerPoint templates, one for your vision board, one for your plan of action board. And so you can literally go to this website that I put up just for you guys, and you can just click on it, download the templates, put your own information in there. I give you instructions, and you can send it to the printer and have your own awesome vision board and your own awesome plan of action board. People literally would charge you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, to if you do a done for you type thing, to do something like this for you. And I'm giving you my template, and I don't care who you share it with anybody you want. To get that, you go to vision.successcreationacademy.com. That's vision.successcreationacademy.com and download it. And then lastly, I'm not going to give this out because my last gift is for the VIPs only. To be a VIP, I mean, you are all very important people to me. Don't get me wrong. You are all VIPs to me. But what I'm talking about is the VIPs are the ones who order the replays of this entire telesummit, which you're definitely going to want to have. You're not going to, there has been such incredible speakers, such incredible legendary leaders, such incredible content. Why wouldn't you want to have this at your access for the rest of your entire life, even to share with the people that you love the most or the people that you lead? I mean, because once you get it, you can share it with other people that you lead or other people in your tribe. So for the people who actually do order the entire telesummit, the replays, which Cody will be sending out and Tony will be sending out information and emails as to how you can access that, how you can share it with others, how you can order the replays and become a VIP. I am going to give every single VIP a special monumental results mastermind. A monumental results mastermind. This is 1 hour on live power-packed information on how to create monumental results in your business and in your life by offering high-value incentives to your clients, just like the one I just gave you, and how you can get reproducible monumental results that are going to blow the doors off of your business, because you're going to need an open space for all of the new people that are going to be coming. Shows you how to double and triple your sales and leads and how to expand as a legendary leader. So I'm super excited about that.
I'm honestly blown away.
Well, hallelujah. That's all I have to say. So can you see my screen, everybody?
I can see it perfectly.
Okay, so we have the 3-day luxury stay. Just go to the Facebook page at D Collins Official. The name of the page is actually D Collins Success Creator. And you would need to like the page, which I hope you would want to do anyway. And then you'll need to go, I already set up a post for this gift. All you have to do is go find the post, like it, comment on it, and please make your comment Legendary Leadership Summit. So I know that that's where you saw it. The second one, you can go to the website, vision.successcreationacademy.com. That's vision.successcreationacademy.com. And that's where you can get the complimentary or the free templates for your own vision board creation. You can also see like an example of my vision board. Hold on, let me see. Can you guys still see my screen?
I see the PowerPoint slide still.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to try to show you something else, but that's okay. So when you go there, if you go to this website, you'll see it. I put there an example of an old vision board that I did. So you can see the example of the vision board and an example of the plan of action board. I'm sorry. I am so sorry about these. Now there's 2 of them.
Oh, no.
Man, you know what? That shows you how powerful this Legendary Leadership Summit is. Even flies are attending this thing.
Boom, there you
know
go.
How people say, if I could be a fly on the wall in that thing.
Before I wrap it up, I just want to say thank you. Because, talking about legendary, that was a legendary gift. You went way above and beyond the call, and that is such incredible thoughtfulness, such incredible value, like my mind is blown. My heart is just again feeling all the feels. Like oh my goodness, thank you so much. With that, that is unfortunately the last session of the Legendary Leadership Summit 2019. It has been absolutely phenomenal from session 1 to session 15. It has been truly incredible. My mind is blown. My heart has been opened. So many incredible speakers, so much incredibleness going on. And with this, I also want to do a huge shout out to the producers of this. We have the wonderful and amazing Tony Kaufman. We've got the great Charles Salazar. We have the person that can get it all done, Nikki Brown, and we've got Jordan Bakar as well, who did so much work to help get this thing going. I know for a fact none of this would have happened without these 4 individuals. This would have just been a dream in my head, and these 4 individuals just were truly above and beyond the call. Talk about more legendary leaders. Those 4 people were just extremely, incredibly legendary in helping make this a reality. Thank you guys for being here. I've been honored to be your host. If you are ever looking to get in contact with me, or you're having trouble getting in contact with any of the people here that you want to be in contact with, my email is here. It's cody@theleadership.guide. And I'll say that again. It is cody@theleadership.guide. There's no .com, there's no .co, no .org. It is actually theleadership.guide. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys got as much value as I did from this, because again, some of these speakers, all of these speakers were giving out information that truly can change your life, can truly help you understand what the essence of elite leadership truly can help you develop a dream team, and can truly help you generate reproducible, monumental results. Guys, again, thank you. All of you guys are wonderful, and I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing the legendary things that you accomplish in the world.